It has been said that in the SDP, we don't have members. We have believers. Good evening, honored guests and friends. Welcome to this 44th anniversary celebration of the Singapore Democratic Party. Now, 30 years ago, when I made my first foray into the world of opposition politics, the political landscape in Asia, in particular East Asia, could not be any more different. Back then, the region was dominated by strongmen, one-party rule, from the military regime in South Korea in the north to Suharto's dictatorship in Indonesia in the south. Democracy in the region was in a state of comatose. Now, fast forward to the present, and the picture could not be any more different. From the vibrant political two-party system in Taiwan to the entrenched civilian rule in Korea to the rambunctious presidential system in Indonesia, the region has undergone a remarkable transformation from autocratic rule to a democratic one. Even in the more checkered cases of places like Thailand, the Philippines, and in the young case of Malaysia, it is unmistakable that Asian peoples are claiming their rights to own their political systems and to choose whom they want to govern them. And so it is with us in Singapore. After laboring under one-party rule for more than 60 years, Singaporeans too want our country to join the League of Free Nations across the world. Now, attesting to this yearning is the results in the recent elections where the ruling party has seen its vote share erode and the political opposition gain ground. With the escalating cost of living hitting the people hard, the over-reliance on foreign talent, and the diminishing prospects and opportunity for the younger generations, the call for less one-party dominance and greater political participation from the people is growing. With the general elections looming, the SDP will continue to play our part by giving Singaporeans voice to their hopes, their dreams, and aspirations. But rather than do this by spouting vacuous rhetoric, we will continue to do what we have done in decades past, and that is to provide the voters with information that they have been deprived for so long, and we will continue to articulate a realistic but compelling alternative to the difficulties that the people face. In other words, we will give the people a reason to vote for the SDP, not just against the PAP. I mentioned at the outset that in the SDP we don't just have members, we have believers. Decades ago, the SDP was labeled a Western liberal party, unsuited to societies in Asia, especially in Singapore. But we always believed the people's right to speak and to participate in the political process is and has always been a human endeavor. It is not Western, neither is it Eastern. It is primordial. When we are cut, we bleed. When we are held captive, we long for freedom. And when we are oppressed, we long to speak up. It is this belief in the goodness of our fellow citizens and their right to govern themselves with participatory democracy that have kept my colleagues and I going all these decades, despite the unrelenting persecution. Now, to be able to soldier on. Such a party cannot be just a collection of individuals. If it was, we would have disintegrated a long time ago. It must be led by believers who are guided, indeed driven, by a set of values. Values that put people before profit, wisdom before wealth, and rights before riches. I am heartened to see so many of you here this evening, determined as ever to continue to put your shoulders to the wheel and push on. Also, a shout out to our young Democrats as well as the many young faces that we have in our midst this evening. We look to you to take over the leadership of this party and to carry on our proud tradition and our noble endeavor of striving for a democratic society based on justice and equality. A pledge that somehow those ensconced in power presently have tragically and conveniently forgotten. If you believe that a democratic future is the way forward for Singapore, if you believe in a party that works for the many, not the money, if you believe that compassion is the brick and mortar of a just and equal society, and that greed and the quest for crass material riches clouds moral clarity. If you believe that freedom of the mind and rule by the people forms the bedrock of a mature and successful society, if you believe in these tenets, as we do in the SDP, then come and join us, and together, let's go build a Singapore that we all love and want to see. I know that there may be still some trepidation among some of you in joining a political party and getting engaged in the political struggle. But let me remind you that ships are safer in the harbor, but that's not what ships are built for. In the time that I have served the party, I have gone through much tumult and long dark periods. But I have not the slightest doubt in my mind that the indomitable spirit for freedom amongst us will spur this country to one day bring democracy to its shores. When, not if, when that happens, the SDP will forever stand in the annals of history of having helped that birthing process. I have long believed that it is better to live poor but free, rather than wealthy but with my mind held captive by greed and fear. And let me add that in the SDP we believe in the 3 C's: competence, constructiveness, and compassion. Competence is not always getting right every single time, but rather it is the pledge that we will do better today than we did yesterday, and better tomorrow than what we do today. Constructive is that we will not stop thinking of tomorrow and will always provide ideas on how we can improve the lot of our fellow citizens. Compassion is a commitment to fight, not just with our heads, but also with our hearts. Thank you for honoring us with your presence this evening. May your lives be filled with meaning and joyful contentment. May we never give up our quest to bring freedom to our peoples. And may we all bid, long live democracy, long live SDP. Thank you.